Behavior just announced the changes coming on this next mid-chapter, and they are really juicy. Starting with what is the biggest change by far, we have a knight rework out of nowhere. Now the knight is able to manually swap between the guards, so you can choose the one you want instead of it being in a cycle. This is a huge change to his playstyle, but this comes with a huge downside. Now you cannot spawn guards unless they are 10 meters away from you. Patrol paths last longer the further away you place them, and when the knight is 8 meters near a guard, the hunt timer depletes 3 times faster. This was done to prevent knights to drop a guard on a loop instantly, which most of the times leaves survivors with no counterplay. However, I might be wrong, but this looks like a huge nerf to the knight, especially because one of the things knight players do is instantly break pallets with the Carnifex. And if you can't do this anymore because you have to spawn 10 meters away from the pallet, then that takes away a big part of why Knight was fun for me. However, it does specify that it's patrol paths and not breaking orders, so you might still be able to instantly spawn a Carnifex on a pallet to break it. Additionally, they swapped the hunt timer for Carnifex with the Jailer, making the Jailer the longest chaser in the game now. This was fair, as Jailer was by far the weakest guard the Knight had, as Carnifex wasted the survivor's time the longest and the Assassin was the fastest. Now with this change, Jailer has a reason to exist and a niche to fill. Most importantly, they added Map of the Realm and Pillaged Mead as base kit, and they will also change a lot of the Knight's add-ons but haven't specified yet how. These changes are absolutely huge and they change the way Knight is played both as and against. It seems like for survivors, Knight is going to be significantly less miserable, and this rework aims to make him the master of macro he was originally supposed to be. We will still have to confirm if the 10 meters limit is a massive nerf or not, especially when insta-breaking pallets during a chase, but we will have to test it in the PTB soon. Now, if you are a Singularity main, I am sure you're going to be very happy, because they added some sweet quality of life changes to him. First of all, using a biopod will automatically aim it towards the nearest survivor as long as you have line of sight, and there is now a decay with the targeting process instead of it being instantly gone. Additionally, survivors will only glow when you can slipstream them, the cooldown of the targeting is decreased, and they improve the UI of the biopods itself. These changes make the Singularity easier to play for newer players and casuals, and it doesn't drastically change his kit for his mains, so these changes are fantastic. Additionally, they added the ability to break a biopod from afar, and also you can hear audio when controlling the biopod just like you can now with a specific add-on. This is surprisingly a fantastic quality of life change. They added Killer Instinct to any survivor that is slipstreamed, as well as increased the aura of the last controlled biopod to make this less confusing and disorienting for newer players. They actually added a weaker version of Soma's family photo as base kit, removed the extra overclock duration with more slipstream survivors, added 1 second extra to the base kit overclock duration, and the stuns caused by perks like Blast Mine or Head On will now cause Singularity to overheat. This is by far the biggest change he has, as this will make him less add-on dependent than he was before. Some extra changes they added is an aim assist when shooting a slipstream survivor and a better aim assist when creating biopods. I assume this will be huge for console players and it will make Singularity less clunky to use overall. Now another big change, this time related to EMPs, is that the supply cases will now only print the EMPs to 97%. Survivors have to manually interact with them in order to print a full EMP. These supply cases will be revealed in yellow to them, and also disabled biopods will have a new animation to show survivors that they are coming back. Some more nerfs were added to the EMPs to make them a bit weaker. Again, these changes are huge, and one of the best ways to nerf EMPs, as survivors are now forced to interact with the printers to get an EMP, making them unable to get one while in a chase. Remember that anytime survivors are not doing a gen, is time you get as a killer to win the match. Finally, they changed some add-ons. They nerfed the anti-cam feature down from 5 seconds to 1.5, and they increased Singularity switchback time to half, which is again a huge boost to Singularities that use their biopods to mine game survivors. I am honestly shocked at how good these changes are, and some of them are actually things I wanted from my Singularity video, so seeing the changes implemented so fast is really cool. I am sure that many Singularity mains are extremely happy with these changes, and dare I say, these changes are actually perfect. A lot of perks have also had some quality of life changes added to them. Darkness Revealed will now reveal the aura of survivors 3 seconds extra, making it 10 with Lethal Pursuer. I'm All Ears had the cooldown reduced by 10 seconds in order to make this perk more useful during a chase. This perk could potentially be insane with the nurse. Trail of Torment got its cooldown slashed in half in order to make the effect happen more. This perk was power crept by Unforeseen, so it's nice seeing it get a buff. Oppression got its cooldown slashed in half, now making it actually usable. With the nerf to Gen Regression perks, we might see more killers start using this perk. Dragon's Grip got the same treatment as Oppression, reducing the cooldown to half. Machine Learning got its duration doubled, as now it gives you 1 minute of haste and undetectable. Super interesting change and potentially insane. However, I wish instead of this, they made the perk easier to activate. We will have to see how good this is in game. Autodidact got a small buff, making the starting penalty slightly less punishing. Empathic Connection got a buff to its altruistic healing speeds from 10% to 30%. This perk is now really good with an altruism build. Iron Will is back on the menu, as they brought the Silence of Moans of Pain on tier 3 back again. This is a small nerf to Spirit, but a huge buff to a lot of Survivor loadouts, so expect Iron Will to come back to the Survivor meta and have an insanely increased pick rate. Resurgence got a buff from 50% recovered healing to 70% after getting unhooked. I think this perk is still bad because you can only activate it twice and Hemorrhage completely counters it. The same exact problem is with Solidarity, as again, Hemorrhage completely counters it, so I don't see this perk being used in any way. Babysitter got a big buff to its supporting ability, increasing the duration from 8 seconds to 30. This is by far the biggest buff in terms of numbers, but Babysitter is a niche perk. Still, I think it has potential on an anti-tunnel support build. What is by far the most surprising change in this patch is that after 8 years with this outdated mechanic, hooks will now respawn 1 minute after you sacrifice a survivor on them. This is absolutely huge, and it helps with preventing killers from creating dead zones where you cannot hook a survivor on them. So in a way, this is indeed a nerf to Sabo squads and survivors, but a huge quality of life change for killers. Finally, I am more than happy to see this implemented in the game. And last but not least, they added map variants to Yamaoka Estate and Ormont Resort, just like they did with Batham in the past and with the Macmillan Estate. There are no images shown, so we will have to see how these variations look like in the PTB, along with the new licensed survivor, so stay tuned in order to get the latest news. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.